Two freshmen, Davidson and Boone, both at 6'10". And Alabama will get the first chance. This is Petway, the guard. Terrific feature on him in the pregame show. What a delightful young man. Inside to Davis. Did well against Syracuse and scores on his first attempt over Okafor.
Well, exactly what Alabama wanted to find out from the get-go, if they could get the ball inside to Davis and if he could get a shot off. Now, he's got Josh Boone, a freshman, on him, but you would expect Okafor to be lurking over there to help out.
Rashad Anderson spins to take the shot well off the mark, but Boone gets an easy offensive rebound and putback. And Mark Gottfried said maybe the best play Connecticut has is a missed shot because they hit the board so well and get easy baskets, and there's a case in point. Davidson can't get inside, and the travel.
I think that was just a little bit of a tester. Mark Gottfried going into Jamario Davidson, a freshman, to see if he can do anything inside, possibly get a foul on Okafor maybe early. He doesn't get that many shots at the basket, maybe 2 or 3 a game.
Okafor, a nice pass to Leak Brown, and trouble handling the rebound, but little Petway comes up with it.
And rebounding will be the big problem for Alabama today. It's been a problem basically all season for them.
People are still wondering how they could have beaten Stanford with all the rebounds that the Cardinal had, and Alabama gets an easy slam from the kid, Jamario Davidson, the freshman from Atlanta.
Oh, there's a real nice play with the double team, with Okafor leaving his man, which he should, but no help on the backside. That's a tough place to leave, however, off the baseline.
Here's Ben Gordon. Made some All-America third teams inside. Boone, a block by Davidson, but Okafor gets it back. Still a scramble. And we're going to have a foul called against Alabama. Appeared to be Antoine Petway had slipped inside to battle with the big boys.
Chuck Davis right away going to work inside, and with Okafor turning his head. So a good bucket by Chuck Davis, and now a nice assist to get the freshman a basket to pick up his confidence.
Boone with an easy basket off the inbounds pass. So Josh Boone, the freshman, has both of the goals for Connecticut.
Now, Alabama with a very slim margin for error cannot make mistakes like that on underneath out of bounds plays.
And Ernest Shelton unable to put on the brakes. He skids into a traveling call. Connecticut would like the up-tempo pace. If Alabama wants to run and be in a hurry, Jim Calhoun's team would just be more than happy.
Well, I think Alabama's got to pick their spots, run when they can. Actually, officially, with the statistics, last couple of games, no fast breaks in the last 2. That's not exactly accurate.
Blocked by Davidson. Oh, the 6'10" freshman up high to deny the All-America. Tied it 4 early. Davidson tries to get inside. Okafor returns the favor. And another block, this time by Boone. And Davidson was on the baseline when he recovered the ball.
And Davidson had a little smile on his face. But here's Okafor going to work inside Davidson with a big lift early for the Crimson Tide. And then, before he made that nifty little pass, not getting both feet in bounds.
Ben Gordon, lightning quick. Anderson hits the 3, and that has been his shot throughout the tournament.
Now, UConn has the luxury of having both Ben Gordon and Talik Brown that can run the point guard position for you.
Connecticut enjoying its first lead at 7-4. Here's the star for Alabama, Kennedy Winston. He finally gets a chance.
That's a nice little play for Alabama. A little Antoine Petway. A little dribble handoff, a little set to pick. That should be an easy switch for UConn.
Nice catch by Okafor on the high pass. Well off the mark, however. And it's Winston the other way. The number's not there. From outside, Shelton not able to hit. Look at Petway, 5'11", up to get that offensive board.
Petway does all the little things, plus gives this team all the leadership in the world, and his teammates will follow him. He's like the little engine that could exciting little player, Antoine Petway.
Foul was on Rashad Anderson. I like what Mark Gottfried had to say about this young man. He said he is pure. He has no agenda. He just pure wants to help his team win every game.
He wore the red shoes. There's some controversy about them. Wore them the other night. Slipped a couple of times against Jerry McNamara. Actually came out of those shoes. Now he's back to the more normal shoes, like the rest of his teammates.
Winston way off the mark on that shot from the baseline, and here comes UConn leading by 1. Gordon up the lane. And a foul. Just into the game, Evan Brock, number 21.
Well, first of all, I thought it was outstanding transition defense by Alabama, and it was. But like Jim Calhoun said, he said, if you're not used to seeing our team playing against it, you just don't realize how quick and strong and speedy a guy like Ben Gordon is, or how explosive a guy like Okafor is at the defensive end. And Ben Gordon showed it right there, catching on the wing and just blowing by the defender.
Gordon hits the first. In fact, Calhoun said that he was in a bit of a dilemma the other night because on one hand he wanted Syracuse to win because he's such a close friend of Jim Boeheim, but he said on the other hand, with a twinkle in his eye, I'd like to play teams that are fresh, meaning that they have not seen us play.
I think Jim's going to say whatever he has to. It would have been easier preparation knowing Syracuse a lot better.
But he gets Alabama and he leads early by 3.
Emeka Okafor coming out of that timeout, going over to the officials saying, hey, they're putting the body on me, they're pushing me, they're holding me. Well, that's what's supposed to happen when you're Emeka Okafor. You're not supposed to let him just walk into the offensive board.
Kennedy Winston brings it in for Alabama at 6'6", an excellent ball handler and an outstanding three-point shooter, as he showed us against Syracuse. Ernest Shelton can't hit. Davis can't take it away from Okafor, and breaking loose. Oh, Talik Brown had an easy layup, and there's going to be a block against Alabama. Josh Boone got the loose ball, and Winston the foul.
Well, Emeka Okafor was actually fortunate to just catch that rebound after the mishandle, but the very alert look up, because this is such a huge part of Connecticut's game. Look up the floor, run as much as possible, and a little bump downstairs on Josh Boone will send him to the free throw line. So Mark Gottfried of Alabama, first of all, they've got to do a job on their defensive board, and they must get back and stop those kind of plays. They really caught an initial break when Talik Brown took his eye off that pass.
Well, at the line, Josh Boone, and this is a team, Connecticut, that has all the strengths, all the positions. The only Achilles is free throw shooting, and Boone hitting only 42%. You can see why he dribbles that one in, as this team as a unit shoots only 62% from the floor. Charlie Villanueva, one of the heralded high school players last year, freshman now at Connecticut. He's 6'11" from Brooklyn, sees his first duty.
And this will move Ben Gordon over to the point guard spot with Talik Brown getting a breather, so he'll have to try to keep Petway from penetrating.
We got a hand check going against UConn, as we remind you, whether you're looking for live scores and updated brackets from each game or game centers with in-depth play-by-play, you can find it all at cbssportsline.com. Foul on Denham Brown, his first. Brown, number 33 from Toronto, the sophomore, seeing his first action. 5 minutes gone. Connecticut by 4. Working inside, and a nice move by the sophomore Davis.
Well, that's the way they started the game, going inside to Chuck Davis, that time being defended by the best defensive player in the country, Emeka Okafor. He took him to school.
Okafor can't hit. Villanueva battling, comes out finally to Alabama. Ernest Shelton. This is Petway. Pass was deflected off a Connecticut hand, then hit an Alabama player out of bounds.
And the officials are going to talk it over, but first watch Chuck Davis just backing in on Okafor and doing the very smart thing there, using the rim as a shield, taking it to the other side. Okafor does block over 4 shots a game.
That last pass ricocheting through players, and they've determined that it would be Alabama's ball. Chance to tie or take the lead. Petway, good entry to Davis. Okafor on him.
Good idea to keep going to Davis until he gets stopped. There's a lot of banging there.
Villanueva. Gordon quickly ahead. Talik Brown. Rashad Anderson, and Okafor is going to go up for the slam on the rebound, but a foul before that play. Ernest Shelton has his first, fourth on Alabama.
It's just so hard to keep from Connecticut from getting in that open floor, forcing the action. They just keep coming at you, seemingly in ways, but they run hard. They push the ball hard. Even if you're back on defense, if you're backpedaling so much, they just force the action on you and take the initiative.
The point guard Talik in for Denham Brown. Not related. Ben Gordon has a good relationship with that net as he drops one right down the middle. 13-8.
There isn't anything Ben Gordon cannot do on a basketball floor, and does it very smoothly and very efficiently.
He's Gentle Ben in a lot of ways. He's lived up to that nickname. Davis, Okafor with a block, his second, and another. Took it right off the rim as Evan Brock appeared to have an easy two. Talik loses the handle. Petway, Shelton, another block. Oh my! Emeka Okafor, who leads the nation, 138 blocks.
Hey, Alabama Crimson Tide meet Emeka Okafor. Yes, he has been beaten once or twice early in this first half defensively, but you keep attacking the big man, he is going to make you pay. He is guarding that basket with a vengeance.
And Kennedy Winston from the corner gets a deuce. It's 13-10. Over 400 blocks in his 3-year career for Okafor. He has 4 already. And Rashad Anderson answers with a tray. He has 6 points.
Now, Rashad Anderson has really found the range here in the postseason ever since the Big East tournament.
Winston can't hit the three. Villanueva pulls it down. Look how quickly they get it up court. Talik Brown, and that's swatted away. Winston with a block. End-to-end action, and again, this is what Connecticut would like.
Yeah, they get back very well on defense. Alabama's going to have to pick their spots. Yes, they're a good three-point shooting team. They've got to take the open ones, but they can't get an up-and-down game.
Another block by Okafor, and here comes Connecticut 3-on-2. Gordon can't hit, but look who's there to get the easy follow.
Well, Evan Brock getting back on defense to make Ben Gordon change that shot. Outstanding defensive play, but more UConn Huskies on the way.
Oh, how impressive the start of the University of Connecticut. Inspired by the defense of Okafor. Up with the right, swats it away with the left.
Well, Emeka Okafor has to be thinking, why do you guys keep attacking me? They're trying to make him work, trying to get him in foul trouble. Now, on an earlier play, Chuck Davis took that to the other side of the rim. Okafor working extremely hard at the defensive end. Gets the first block, quick on his feet, and that's what Jim Calhoun has been talking to Okafor the last couple of days about. We need you to be springy. We need you to get up in the air and be aggressive.
As you all know, Okafor's been bothered by a bad back all season. A stress fracture of a vertebra as Shelton misses on his three-point attempt. So given a breather, Okafor, but he doesn't sit down. Gordon lays it in, and they attack off the rebound. Again, it's 20-10.
Even though Shelton has been shooting well, he's a big scorer for Alabama. That quick jump shot with Okafor getting a rest, not a wise play. Got to do this. Got to go inside. There they draw the double.
Connecticut now with Hilton Armstrong, a 6'10 sophomore. And Ernest Shelton answers for Alabama.
A little inside out, and that'll work very nicely. And Mark Gottfried right away stamping his foot on the outside after that ball went through the net. Get back, get back.
Oh my. Rashad Anderson, automatic. That's his third tray. He has 11 total to lead all scores.
Boy, that pass was in the air a long time from Ben Gordon. Somebody on Alabama's got to get after the corner. You've got to make the shot. Anderson put the ball on the floor rather than knock down that jumper.
Petway free for three. Not to be. Villanueva. Here comes UConn. They've made all 4 of their long-range shots and lead by 10. Villanueva, the heralded freshman. He misses his first attempt, and Sheldon sets up Petway.
Gonna look inside to Chuck Davis right now, see if he can't draw another double. Here it comes.
They work it around the perimeter. Shelton, one of their top three-point shooters. This is Emmett Thomas as Kennedy Winston is being given a breather. Inside Davis. He has 6.
And that's against a double team, Dick. He is very, very deceptive, and he's a tired puppy dog right now, looking over to the bench saying, I need a breather.
Oh, Rashad Anderson. He's taken all of the prizes. If this is a carnival, he can't miss. Don't wake yourself up. Stay in that zone.
He's been in that zone for the last 6 games. Averaged 10 a game during the season. He's got it up over 14 a game during that time period.
Petway. It won't fall for the Dynamo guard of Alabama, and a foul underneath. Well, it is a real problem for Mark Godfrey. If you don't attack the offensive glass, they get all the rebounds and send it out. If you do, they beat you down court anyway. Timeout with 9:41 left in this opening half. The Huskies growling by 11. Just from outside the line, they're beating Alabama at their own game.
Well, Okafor went out, got about a 3-minute breather, and UConn outscored Alabama 15-9 during that time period because of the shooting of Rashad Anderson, and now Okafor's back. And Anderson is out.
And they go with Armstrong as well. Hilton Armstrong and Okafor. 2 big men down in the hole, and a holding call. And Antoine Petway has his second. Here comes Demetrius Smith in for Alabama. Petway will sit.
That's the danger of putting Antoine Petway, telling his teammate Ernest Shelton, he elbowed me, trying to guard Ben Gordon.
Oh, what a leap by Okafor. He scores, and he'll go to the line. And took a pretty good blow in the back as he shot that ball and is trying to work it off.
Yeah, Jamario Davidson going to take a swipe here as Okafor goes up there right across the head. And Okafor has been battling that bad back. That'll make him forget the back for a couple of seconds as he got hit hard on the side of the head. That hurts the neck.
That's turnabout's fair play. He's a pain in the neck to everyone else. Now he's got one of his own. Let's hope it's not a serious one. Does not appear to be so. Now Okafor, while he's shooting 60% from the floor, he's hitting only 52% from the line.
And so far, Dick, he has obviously nothing. He has made his presence felt at the defensive end.
So he'll settle for the 2-point play.
And Okafor, he's telling Jim Calhoun something's wrong with his elbow, his right arm, like he has no feeling in it. And his neck, his arm, and
might have had the football version of a stinger there. Just
tingling or numbness in that arm.
So he comes out. And Josh Boone returns. Boone and Armstrong will take over the duties down deep on defense.
Chuck Davis waiting, not so patiently, over on that side of the floor, trying to get the ball inside.
Kennedy Winston survives a bump from Brown. There's the quick hands. And a foul. It'll go against Connecticut. Sunday on 60 Minutes. Who would pay a 14-year-old $500,000 a year? How about a professional soccer team? Is he worth it? See for yourself Sunday on 60 Minutes. Denham Brown's second foul. 3 team fouls on Connecticut. 7 on Alabama. So from now on, UConn to the line. And Kennedy Winston. He's going to be a young man to follow. 2 more years at Alabama. What a good-looking young player he is.
He loves that spot on the floor as well. And that'll make it easier to get the ball inside to Davis. So far, the Crimson Tide have not been crisp enough the last few minutes.
Shelton hawking Anderson, and keeps working away from the ball, trying to get open for that 3. And Shelton held him that time.
Well, Emeka Okafor, this little lob play on the out of bounds, getting his first basket, but got hit hard on the side of the head which is affecting the right side of his neck. And trying to get a little feeling in that elbow, forearm area. Obviously didn't feel good before he put up that offering at the line, which was about 2 or 3 feet short.
Kind of like when you're sleeping at night, you cut off your circulation, you wake up and you can't feel your elbow and hand. It seems the way he's reacted. Meanwhile, Rashad Anderson has his 15th point. Talking with the Connecticut trainer.
And evidently good enough to come back in the game. We'll see if he's able to use his right hand. And of course, Alabama coming into this game knowing the foul shooting problems of the Huskies as a team, most of them, with a few exceptions, and also Okafor, and wouldn't be a bad idea to make him earn anything and everything from the free throw line when they can. They just don't have the depth, however, to get some of their key players in foul trouble.
And Ben Gordon, just such a tough player at both ends. He just doesn't give you anything on that dribble, and almost a steal in that exchange. Evan Brock up high, can't get it. Nice bat out by Davis. And that'll be on Tariq Brown. His first. Timeout, just under 8 to go in this opening half. The UConn Huskies showing you why they are picked to go a long way. Welcome back. Lots to chew on here. 38% shooting for Alabama. And of course, Connecticut allowing on the season 36.7%, best in the nation. 5 for 5 from outside the line for UConn, and yet to shoot a free throw, Alabama. Let's find out about the All-America Okafor. Let's go to Heather Cox.
Well, Dick, I was able to talk to UConn's trainer, Jason Miller. The injury is like a typical football injury. He does have a stinger in that neck. It's shooting down his right shoulder all the way into his hand. As you watch him during timeout, he's certainly flexing that right hand. They tested for nerve damage. He does have a little tingling in his fingers, but they said he is good to go as long as he can continue to tolerate that pain. Now, the one concern is that those muscle spasms will start acting up from that stress fracture in his back, Dick.
All right, thanks, Heather. Inside, Kennedy Winston, and he gets the roll. Somebody hits the deck. It was Brock. Heather joins us because Leslie Visser, she's got her own nerve pain, an older nerve bothering Leslie, and she says she's already actively in therapy. We'll see her back soon. Unable to connect was Anderson on the drive. He has 16 points to lead all scores. Demetrius Smith throws it away. Gordon just waiting for that pass. Look at him handle the ball.
Stops on a dime, but you could see going the other way, Dick. Alabama just does not have the running mentality. Well, nobody really quite has it like UConn, but Alabama just content to play their pace, their style. It's been very effective for them, especially here in the postseason.
And they've committed. We played almost 13 minutes in this opening half. Committed 1 turnover, Connecticut. Anderson. And here comes Alabama, 3-on-3. Shelton, who had some big threes against Syracuse. Davis takes it inside against Okafor. Uh-oh, that's 5 blocks for the All-America. More blocks in his 3-year career than Shaq O'Neal had at LSU or David Robinson at the Naval Academy.
He just had Chuck Davis all locked up on that particular play. Davis has some good moves down there, uses his body very well, but you're going against the best at Okafor.
Ben Gordon joins the 3-hit parade. He's got 10.
Ben Gordon looks out there like he's got a pulse rate of about 40. Just no sweat, no bother. Game comes so easy to Ben Gordon.
Winston's miss, rebounded by Brock. His dad played with the Harlem Globetrotters, Ernie Brock. Winston, a tough fall away. Okafor. Rebound, and he was stepping on the line. Number 2 in the nation in rebounding as well for Okafor.
You know, Dick, most shot blockers are generally going to block the shot from somebody else coming off their own man. But here, right on his own man, Chuck Davis. And then Ben Gordon, who has not been forcing the action, letting, for the most part, Rashad Anderson get going. And we were looking at that. Chuck Davis on the inbounds pass getting wide open.
Fouls number 50 and Okafor.
underneath.
Okafor commits a foul.
Yeah, underneath out of bounds. And good little head fake that time by Davis, showing no intimidation factor whatsoever. As he's had a few shots now sent back his way by Okafor, putting that one right in his eye.
3-point play for Chuck Davis. He has 9 points. His coach Gottfried said he's really matured this year. There's a freshman that did become a sophomore.
Well, you know, it's so important to keep attacking the shot blocker. You know, players don't like to get their shot blocked. It's embarrassing. You know, you don't like to have it, but you know you're going against a good one. Make them work.
Villanueva tries the 3. Davis rebounds at the other end. Petway back in for Alabama. Calls out the play.
Kennedy Winston wants it in the post again.
Winston, nice shot over the leaping Villanueva. So suddenly Alabama, a little run here, down to 8. Talik Brown and Anderson race down court, and Anderson can't hit the layup. Thought he was fouled.
That's 3 straight misses for Rashad Anderson, and Jim Calhoun is kind of looking around and saying, what happened to my score?
And a foul on Gordon is Kennedy Winston maneuvering for a shot. First on Gordon.
This is a terrific move by Mark Godfrey. They came out a couple of timeouts ago, did it after an underneath out of bounds play. Winston posting up on the left side, or I should say the right side of the floor. This time on the left side. He's got a height advantage against Talik Brown. Why not use it? Sometimes Winston has such a smooth game and sometimes settles just for too many outside jump shots because he shoots it so well. He's got more to his game.
The foul was before the shot. The 6th team foul on Connecticut, and Villanueva rebounds, and here come the UConn Huskies. Emeka Okafor in the game. And just joining us was whacked heavily on the head taking a shot and had a numbing effect. Gordon gets his own rebound, and he's just all over the court.
Well, he's just quicker than everybody did. He just threw that ball up, knew exactly that he missed it, and knew exactly where it was going to come off the rim, and just beat everybody else to it.
4:35 to go here in Phoenix. The winner to the Final Four, and Connecticut enjoys a 10-point lead.
And Petway dying to get in the lane to put up his floater.
There's the floater from Shelton, but not there. Villanueva clears again. Anderson with 16, Gordon with 12, leading Connecticut. Gordon wants 3 more, and he's going to get a chance to shoot 3 from the line. The foul on Kennedy Winston, his 2nd. Ben Gordon, the MVP of the Big East tournament this year when he set a record 81 points. Averaging 18 on the year. He and Okafor have been battling for the team lead, both right at 18.
Big East tournament MVP. Basically not hit out of a possible #1 seed, or at least a 2 seed. Yeah, we said there's no weakness in Ben Gordon's game. He does everything well. If you're really searching, and it's not in his game, it's really his person. He defers a little bit. He doesn't want to take over games unless it's absolutely necessary. And Jim Calhoun said there's no sense trying to change him. This is who he is as a person and as a basketball player.
He said his IQ, you want to talk about SAT scores, he said he's up in the 1400s when it comes to playing. Makes all 3 there, and he now has 15 in the game. And a whistle away from the ball. It's a hold against Connecticut. Shaman Tools just in, didn't play at all against Vanderbilt the other night. He's a senior from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, as Jim Calhoun tried to give one of his starters a rest, and that would be Rashad Anderson. Rip Hamilton, also from that same town, Coatesville, Pennsylvania High School. And Kennedy Winston gets the 2 free throws. Ben Gordon. There's the rebound. There's 2 more for UConn. Here from the women's championship, the #2 seeded UConn women's team defeats University of California Santa Barbara 63-55, and will next play Penn State, the #1 seed in the Eastern Regional Final, with a chance to go to the Final Four. Boy, how How nice is it to be a student on the campus of the University of Connecticut? You got two teams playing for a possible Final Four berth next weekend.
And two great women players will be in that game coming up. Diana Taurasi and Kelly Mazzani of Penn State.
Ben Gordon has scored the last 8 points for UConn. But Villanueva changes that as he dances one in. Final Four at stake, a trip to San Antonio for the winner here. Alabama, one of the big surprise teams. Kennedy Winston, a reason for that. Okafor yanks down the rebound. He has 6.
And grimaced in pain as he came down with that ball. You know, so far, Alabama, as they go into their zone second straight time, they plan on mixing it up, but they're holding their own on the boards. They just can't get an easy basket, and they can't get to the free throw line.
Zone defense for Alabama. That's playing right into the hands of that deadly shooter. Rashad Anderson leading all scorers with 19. And that's the biggest UConn lead, 16.
And Jim Calhoun feels a lot better because Rashad Anderson missed his last 3 shots.
Davis over Okafor and could not hit. They break out in a hurry. Gordon stops the 3. They are really good. 46-27, timeout Alabama.
Well, Rashad Anderson trying to regain his touch. He was on fire in the early part of this game. He's got it back, and then the picture-perfect, beautiful shot from Ben Gordon.
Connecticut 8 for 9 from the line. Coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Gumbel and company will speak with Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski and preview the East Rutherford Regional Final coming up between Oklahoma State and St. Joseph's, plus the Singular Trivia Challenge, all coming up on Singular at the half. 8 for 9 from outside the line for Connecticut. 7 for 21 inside. And speaking of inside, there's Chuck Davis. He leads Bama with 11.
Right back at you, Chuck Davis. The last time he attempted a shot wasn't blocked by Okafor, but he made him change it. But Davis seems unfazed by all that.
Okafor setting up Villanueva. Big men play a little passing game.
Charlie Villanueva had himself a solid first half, 2 for 4 from the field, but he's got himself 6 rebounds as well.
Meanwhile, Rashad Anderson working on a career game for Connecticut. Shelton outside, doesn't hit the 3. Cleared by Okafor. Talik Brown easily. He has his first basket as he weaves his way in for the layup. It's 50-29.
We've seen that on 3 or 4 occasions where Alabama's been back on defense and then they relax, and either Gordon, in that case Talik Brown, they just keep coming at you.
They gang up on Kennedy Winston, and the ball goes off his knee out of bounds. Josh Boone returns for Connecticut.
Kennedy Winston thinking about going to the hoop more and more rather than settle for the jump shot, but Talik Brown got a piece of that. The high-low pass to Charlie Villanueva, showing his skills around the basket. He's got all the offensive skills in the world, and what is going to make him an outstanding college basketball player in the next couple of years is if he really buckles down at the defensive end.
With a minute left, Calhoun rests Okafor. Gordon dribble, sets up his own 3, misses this one, and a rebound to Petway. Final minute of this first half. 17-4 run currently for Connecticut. There's Boone, almost with the steal. Emmett Thomas from the corner. Rashad Anderson, and he'll slow it down this time as Calhoun was right there in his ear. Anderson 5 for 5 on 3-point field goals, 1 for 7 from 2-point range. You figure. About a 7-second difference between shot and game clocks. There's Anderson for 3. Oh my! Brutal.
The basket just looks so big to him when he's beyond the arc, Dick. That's the difference.
22 points for Rashad Anderson in the first half. That's only 4 under his career high. And a whistle with 3 seconds left. 6 out of 6 for Anderson from long range.
Well, Denham Brown was the starter for Connecticut and then had some injuries, knee and hip, and opened up the door for Rashad Anderson, and he just kicked that door down, taking over that starting spot. Yeah, Rashad, we know you got the hot hand.
3.4 seconds left. Kennedy Winston goes to the line. Anderson given a breather. Don't let him cool off too much, Coach Calhoun. Don't touch him. You'll sear your fingers. Here's Winston looking for his 14th point. Rolling away, the can't quite control. It'll count if it goes, but it's short from outside, and Demetrius Smith. Rashad Anderson, the sophomore. There's not a shot he doesn't like. That's always been his reputation. But boy, does Connecticut like the ones he hit in the first half. 53-29, the #2 seeds. Very impressive. Heather? Allowing more points in that first half than any half all season long, but the play so impeccable, and as Coach Gottfried said, he played some good defense, and when a team is that hot, what are you going to do?
Well, an important concern for Connecticut coming into this game was to check the three-point shooting of Alabama, and they have done that. Just 2 for 12 from the perimeter. Yet, Ernest Shelton did have some good looks he normally makes.
Boone left alone, and the foul will be on Davidson. Right back to Heather.
Dick, a quick update on Emeka Okafor. During the halftime, all they did was massage, kept rotating that shoulder, trying to keep it loose. And you'll notice even as he's playing, he's rotating that right shoulder, making sure those muscle spasms don't increase and he doesn't tighten up anymore.
All right, thank you. That's good news for Connecticut fans, and a warning for those that might be waiting in San Antonio. Boone looking for his 6th point.
Josh Boone got started off very nicely at the offensive end, hit a couple of field goals. He really labors at the free throw line, however, 42%.
Cutway brings it in for Alabama. Here's Winston, led Bama in scoring the first half with 13. Takes it in with the left hand, and Okafor clears.
Once again, grimaces as he puts that right arm up.
5 blocks and 8 rebounds for Okafor.
Now, if I were Ernest Shelton guarding Rashad Anderson, I would just try to keep the ball out of his hands no matter what. Just put the blinders on. Don't worry about helping anybody else. Don't let him get it.
Then Gordon finds a way to work his way in close. He has 20. Other than Talik Brown, the starting point guard, who's the all-time assist leader in Connecticut history, there's just no place a defense can relax. The other 4 can kill you.
Now take a look at this last rebound by Okafor, going up strong, and as he brought that right arm down, you can tell he's having some kind of a well, I'm not going to be a doctor there, but his neck and arm are certainly hurting him right now.
Foul is on Okafor, his 2nd, and a drive from Shelton. Ernest Shelton has 5.
Conscious effort by Alabama. Mark Gottfried alluded to it with Heather Cox said, we got to get to the free throw line. The only way to do that is take the ball to the basket. They've done that on a couple of trips now.
And holding call inside. It'll go against Jamario Davidson, trying to stop Okafor. It's his 4th foul. Averaging 5 points on this his first season at Alabama. Uncle of was Derek Smith, who was a member of the Louisville Cardinal championship team back in 1980 that had Darrell Griffith as a most valuable player.
Well, for Alabama, rebounds just about even, 22-19 favor of UConn, and they got back reasonably well on defense.
Anderson, but that's everything is so clean.
That's the problem. It's the three-point shooting of Rashad Anderson, and to some degree Ben Gordon has had himself a fine offensive game so far.
7 for 7 for Anderson. So that was a 2-pointer. They're only going to give him 2 on that last one, and in hard goes Evan Brock for the slam, his first bucket.
Well, that's the right idea. Take the ball to the basket. If you get shut off by a defender or Okafor shows up, look to dish to his man or kick out to an open shot to an Ernest Shelton or Petway or Winston.
Just underway second half, and Connecticut already with 2 players over 20 points. That one rims out for Gordon. Boone can't get the follow. Brock comes out with the ball. Chuck Davis. Yeah, they got open from the air, but Brock missed anyway. And then the long feed ahead to Gordon. Good catch. And another 2 for Gentle Ben. He has 22.
Well, Chuck Davis trying to get himself to the basket. Okafor actually made him put up a poor offering, but Evan Brock and Okafor in the air had a chance to draw a foul.
Shelton nails the tray. He has 8. Makes a move inside. He's got a wonderful feed, doesn't he? And blocked by Davis. Okafor recovers. Again, wincing as he did so. Oh, that's double dribble.
Yep. And looking at his arm and wrist and fingers again, he wanted that ball. He wanted to go offensively. He's looking over to Jim Calhoun right now and saying he's got to come out of the game. On that block shot, that had to hurt it even more because the force of the block against the ball, against the hand, has put Okafor in a world of hurt right now.
Charlie Villanueva comes in, and Okafor holding the front of his right shoulder, now his hand. Just the 3rd turnover committed by Connecticut to go with 14 assists. And a battle underneath, and Salik Brown and Shelton trying to fight for position. And Brown has his second. And it just isn't going away, and I think Okafor thought by now the pain would have disappeared.
Anytime you have anything in that neck area, that pain could be going in any direction, and it seemed to be going right down the shoulder and arm and wrist of Emeka Okafor.
Into the second half. Hitting the side of the board with Anderson. How can you shoot one like that when you've been so pure?
Get him out of there. Actually, tough defense by Ernest Shelton. Shot Anderson's been so hot, he had a little bit of a heat check.
Timothy Winston can't hit. And Talik Brown says, let's just slow it down this time.
And Jim Calhoun is barking at Rashad Anderson right now. What have you done for me lately, Rashad?
Give Ben Gordon a chance here. Anderson has it slapped away, and Shelton can't save on the sideline as he tried to kick it back inside. Timeout. 15:25 left in this second half. All Connecticut. Back at the Phoenix Regional Final. Look at our tournament summary. X does mark the spot for the Musketeers. They reached their first Elite 8 and will meet Duke tomorrow. They've done that, Duke and Kansas, 17 times to the Final 8. As Okafor continues to attract attention. Look at Alabama shooting under 35%. All 4 opponents here in the tournament of Connecticut have shot under 36.7, which is the best in the nation on the regular season. Gordon, acrobatic, but not there. And a foul as Gordon battling inside. Nailed Davis. Heather, what's the latest on Okafor?
Dick, a little bit more on that stinger. I talked to team doctor Jeff Anderson. He said the issue is the nerve is now irritated. As long as it is, pain tolerance is the issue. They're working on it, trying to get that nerve to settle down and flare down. That's the only way that the pain will resist. Otherwise, it's just a wait and see for Okafor.
All right, thank you. Fans wanted a goaltend here at this end, and now a foul. Well, we have a chance of talking about Okafor. This year in Division I basketball, about 4,000 men played at the Division I level. 15 of them were named Academic All-American, and 1 was named the Academic All-America of the Year, and that was Okafor. What an honor. 3-7-6 in finance. There's your first team. And get a chance maybe after this free throw we can see the rest of the names. These are the young men that are going to be real stars in the future in society. Hess, Hill, Kubler, and Mark. Wish we could give you even more attention. You kind of wish those were the kids living next door to you.
Okafor's father earning a doctorate in pharmacy while his son is finishing school in 3 years.
And so that'll be his third degree for the father. So obviously he's coming from a family who holds education at a very high value.
Gordon, no foul. And inside, Anderson shows that he'll battle on the glass as well. 26 for Rashad Anderson, and that matches his career high.
Now keep in mind, Connecticut played recently 3 games without Okafor with that bad back, so they know how to play without.
Gordon sets up Anderson, and the foul will take Anderson to the line. It was Emmett Thomas with the hack, his first. Say, make sure you vote for your starting guards on the Pontiac All-Time Tournament team. You can cast your ballot now at ncaasports.com/Pontiac.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Jim Calhoun wants to go against Duke or Xavier without Okafor. But during that time period when he was out, guys like Josh Boone, Hilton Armstrong gained a lot of confidence by getting playing time and having some success in the absence of Okafor. How that translates to the NCAA tournament, obviously we don't know.
Still in the wave out. Armstrong back, as we said. Anderson, a career high, +1, 28. And we've got 14 minutes yet to play here in Phoenix. Raising up with a 3 is Emmett Thomas, his first points of the game. And we now hear unofficially that Okafor has told his coach that he does not feel he can play the rest of this game, and obviously his presence isn't going to be desperately needed. It's a good team, as you've made a point, Matt. You know, even without him, they're an outstanding club.
Yes, but obviously with him, it changes the whole complexion. They're tough defensively on the perimeter, and he, of course, anchors the back of that defense with the shot blocking ability.
Ben Gordon from long range, 25. The downtown shooting of UConn continues.
Well, how about this combo right now? Ben Gordon and Rashad Anderson just sniping away.
And Thomas answers back-to-back threes. He's a senior from Birmingham. Good, in fact, on the season, the best three-point shooter for the Crimson Tide, over 43%.
It's so tough for Alabama. They're just not doing enough defensively to create a turnover or to get a missed shot, get a block shot, anything to get some kind of a running game going, get a little flurry to try to get this thing down to 10 or 12 at the 6-minute mark.
Thomas trying to make it a little tougher on Gordon. Look at that ball handling skill. And then he sets up Armstrong, and he can't hit it. Gets it back for the easy 2.
Nice job by Hilton Armstrong. Got a bad break on the first offering, but stayed with it. But how about that quick move by Ben Gordon to beat his man? And he loves to pass the ball. Besides all of his scoring ability, he is a special, special player.
Davis working on the freshman Boone. Boone and Armstrong inside are both 6'10", and that'll be a foul. Boone has his first.
This is a little bit of a blur here, and again, he just goes crossover, stop on a dime, put it on the floor, create that opening, and the perfect delivery. And Hilton Armstrong not taking anything for granted, staying with the follow-up.
Davis to shoot too. He was asked about his most embarrassing moment. Often they do that, the bios and the media guide, and he said, well, in middle school I shot the ball in the opponent's basket, and then he quickly said, I made the shot though.
Talking of players coming of age, just the sophomore Chuck Davis developing into a very nice inside player. Supposedly has an 88-inch wingspan, which at 6'7" makes him like 6'10", 6'11".
Combination outside of Anderson and Gordon powering this UConn team towards San Antonio.
And Connecticut won't be in any hurry. I don't think we're going to see any quick jump shots unless it comes from Gordon. Or maybe Anderson.
Oh, yeah, you saw what was coming.
And there's that missed shot that does become the best play for Connecticut, and Boone will go to the line, and that's always a real adventure. Thursday on CBS, the suspect in a brutal murder leaves the CSI team shocked like never before. TV's most watched drama returns, an all-new CSI Thursday here on CBS, America's most watched network.
Well, Jim Calhoun said to us yesterday, he said, on my ball club, of course he says it with a New England accent, so you have to really listen carefully. He said, everybody has to defend or you don't play. And then we kind of looked at him and said, well, unless you can score about 20 to 25, he said, then I might look the other way.
Yeah, he's an old scorer himself at American International in Springfield, Mass, where he was a star little All-America player right there in the home of the Naismith Hall of Fame, and he's a finalist for that honor this year. Well, let's hope Okafor will recover before next weekend. Time out. And welcome back, and follow up on Jim Calhoun. While playing there at American International in the mid-60s, he said he went to the Hall of Fame. It just opened. He said just marveling at all the great players of the game prior to his time. And he said there's no question to join that illustrious list. And he's certainly deserving of a lot of votes. We'll see. Well, Connecticut tournament record, 10 made three-pointers. It's not a school record. 15 against Hartford 7 years ago is that mark.
Well, this is not out of character for Connecticut. They've been an excellent three-point shooting team all season, just under 40% as a group. And in Gordon and Rashad Anderson, they're special.
Davis, good fake. Block as Emmitt Thomas was denied, and Anderson saves in the corner. Remember, more basketball to come here on CBS, and what a game it should be. Number 1 St. Joe's against number 2 Oklahoma State. The firepower outside of the Hawks, and that good old court game of the Cowboys. Demetrius Smith now assigned to Gordon. Smith, the senior from Hogansville, Georgia. Down to 6. Gordon has to force the shot. Missed everything. And here comes Alabama.
You can just tell Alabama is not a fast break committed team. That's what they're committed to. Emmitt Thomas knocking one down from downtown. They're pretty much a three-point shooting team, but I think to take another level next year, they're going to have to develop some kind of a running game, and that takes sprinting from the defensive end.
There's Petway on Talik Brown. Brown, who has established this season a record most assists in a year. There's another Villanueva. Thank you very much, Talik. And also career-wise, Talik Brown over 700 assists in his brilliant 4 years at UConn.
And I think we're going to have a technical foul after this dunk. Charlie Villanueva pulls on the rim a little bit, but it's for slapping the backboard, and that's a technical foul.
A freshman technical foul.
Yeah. And it's a shame. Charlie Villanueva, you know, it's one of those things that happens, but he has had himself a very solid game. About a week or so ago, Jim Calhoun said he is the poster boy for summer league AAU type of basketball as far as his defensive mentality. He said, and it's just not going to work here. He said he's going to be a very good player here, but he's going to have to learn how to defend.
And he also added that this may surprise folks that he might be the best passer on the team. We just saw Talik Brown with his 9th assist.
And we were talking about basketball IQ, way up in that area too. He said just knows the game, knows how to play. Same with freshman Josh Boone. He said just has a terrific feel like in guarding Matt Fritchie the other day. Instead of extending to try to block the shot, he just made him change it a little bit. Instead of picking up maybe a silly foul, and just had a complete concept of the little details that you don't really expect from freshmen.
Inside Davis, and he draws another foul before the shot. Sunday on CBS, see why Cold Case is television's most watched new drama. Don't miss a new episode. Sunday, tomorrow night, 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. Of course, 2 big NCAA regional finals as we'll complete the cast of the Final 4 and then 60 minutes. Nice inbounds pass. And Kennedy Winston has 17 to lead Alabama.
And Rashad Anderson got caught chasing the back of Kennedy Winston. Terrific execution.
Calhoun wants a timeout. His lead has been whittled down to 19. Doesn't want his club to get careless. It's a 30-second timeout. We passed the midpoint of the second 20-minute period, and Connecticut has led throughout, currently enjoying a 19-point lead. This is the same site that 5 years ago Jim Calhoun's team beat Gonzaga in the regional final, went on to the Final Four and captured the national championship. He's superstitious. He said, I like it. Same locker room, same place. I've got good vibes. He should have, the way his teams play.
But he's not a particularly happy camper. He's getting upset with every defensive lapse or bad shot. But that's a typical coach.
With 2 seconds on the clock, Gordon has to almost baseball past that shot, and Talik Brown gets the rebound.
Now, well, Connecticut obviously is trying to milk some clock. They're getting very tentative, and then winding with the shot clock winding down, they're forced to take a bad one.
And Gordon takes a good one, and there's the result. Ben Gordon with 27, Rashad Anderson 28.
It's almost like the players saying, hey, coach, just let us play our normal game. We'll take the good shots when they're there, and they're not. We'll pass the ball.
But this is where the Hawkeye of Coach Jim Calhoun is watching his team. Are you going to still play defense? So you're winning all right, but don't give up.
Well, he doesn't want his ball club to settle into any kind of bad habits ever. He's very demanding in practice. Anytime there is a defensive mistake, everybody runs on that particular team. And the players are just well aware of the glare and stare of Jim Calhoun when those mistakes are being made.
Fouls on number 15 and 12.
There's Ben Gordon. And has that ability not only to shoot the ball from the perimeter, but to create space that time to get a better look at the basket.
Anderson 28, Gordon 27. The rest of the Huskies combined 18 points. That last foul on Petway, his third. Emeka Okafor indicating to his coaches and trainers that he does not want to return. He was hit in the back of the head taking a shot in the first half, pinched a nerve in his neck that has affected his feeling in his arm, shoulder, and hand. Hopefully will not have residual effects that will carry over through next week. Down to 7 on the shot clock. And Anderson can't hit the 2. Matt Boone will give Connecticut another chance. So they're chewing up a lot of clock in this series.
3 yards in a cloud of dust for UConn, but that's exactly what Jim Calhoun wants.
A couple of freshmen on the court, Boone and Villanueva, and a holding call against Shelton. It's his third, and with it a timeout. 7:43 left. Mark Gottfried agape at the power of UConn. Back in Phoenix with a check of our game summary. When you hold the opposition under 40% and you hit 10, a record tournament, 10 3-pointers, you're going to have a 19-point lead. And the only bad news today, Emeka Okafor, after a fast start, he's blocking everything in sight. Then this hit right there on the side of the head, and it forced his head down on his right shoulder, pinched the nerve. You see immediate numbness, a stinger, and it just did not go away.
I tried to play a number of minutes, and every time that he would reach up and grab a ball and bring it back down, he would just grimace in pain, and finally told Jim Calhoun no more.
You ever have one?
Yes.
Miserable, huh?
Yes.
How long does it last?
Forever. That's not funny. It's it's a very painful situation. Emeka Okafor's a young guy. He's going through the lower back problems, and that's not a happy thing to deal with. But
yeah, I apologize for making light of it at the time. But hopefully it will not be a serious injury to Okafor. Emma Thomas, his third foul. You know, you can just see as he rubbed his arm what he's a body that's sculpted. In fact, Calhoun said, here's a guy just learning how to play basketball. If he wanted to be a decathlete, we might see him in the Olympic Games. He could throw, run, great feet, power. He's got the whole package.
And he works hard at the conditioning aspect, gets into the weight room.
If only he were bright, you know.
And he has made himself a good basketball player, obviously with good coaching from the coaching staff. And but the game does not come naturally to him. He has to learn it. And of course, once he's told something, he knows it from then on. You don't have to tell him twice.
And a foul against Villanueva of Connecticut, his fourth. And still to come, number 2 Oklahoma State against number 1 St. Joseph's. Many feel that Oklahoma State, like Connecticut, will wrest the national title, and of course they're a great legion of fans of St. Joe's with that attractive guard play, and Jameer Nelson, who along with Okafor are those 2 men all season long bandied about as the player of the year, and both unanimous All-Americans.
A storybook season for the Hawks, going undefeated all the way up until the Atlantic 10 tournament. But when you have guard play like Jameer Nelson and Delonte West, you've really got something going for you.
Nelson, who's been thinking back to the tournament when he was a freshman out in San Diego, where you could see he had star written all over him even as a starter in his freshman year. Down to 8, Gordon to 7, slides inside and turns his body so that he doesn't charge. He forces Alabama to commit the foul. So here we go, St. Joe's and Oklahoma State with a chance to move on to San Antonio in the Final Four. Oklahoma State with a huge win over Pittsburgh, and that was quite a classic. St. Joe's beating Wake Forest.
It's going to be fun to watch that game. Son of John Lucas, who transferred over from Baylor. He's done a terrific job for Eddie Sutton, and he certainly knows how to play the game. That's going to be a great guard matchup.
Yeah, if you wanted to really think all the way to the finals, should Oklahoma State and Connecticut meet, Okafor would be playing against his high school teammate, John Lucas. What a team at Bel Air in Houston. 76-56. Kennedy Winston at 6'6", showing some moves to the ball. Rebound, Emma Thomas. Shelton takes it inside. Nice pass to Davis. He's done that well, both against Syracuse and against Connecticut. 15 for Davis. He had 19 2 days ago against Syracuse. 6:10 left. It's such an important part of the collegiate game, the 3-point field goal, and Connecticut used that to jump out to a quick early lead and have been coasting since. Get complete tournament coverage at CBSSportsline.com. That's our CBS Sportsline stat. Gordon 30, Anderson 28 to lead UConn. Winston 17, Davis 15 are the top scorers for Alabama.
And there's no question that the Connecticut perimeter defense took a lot of that 3-point shooting away from Alabama. But I thought there were 3 or 4 occasions in that first half where they did have good looks and didn't make them, and that was a big blow to Alabama's chances.
Denham Brown taking a 3-pointer. Denham from Toronto, Ontario. Been quiet in the tournament, averaged 9.5 points on the season. Davis takes it inside, and he has 17 to tie Winston for the lead. Little backboard pressure. Boone brings it in and was hacked. And looking ahead to tomorrow, here's the NCAA regional finals. The St. Louis regional at the Edward Jones Dome with Kansas Jayhawk. And of course, they're got a lot of fan support in that area. And Georgia Tech, B.J. Elder, wonder about that ankle of his, critical to the Yellow Jackets' hopes.
Well, Paul Ewan, the coach of Georgia Tech, he has to be shaking his head a little bit. I lose a fabulous freshman player, Chris Bosch, a big man at 6'10".
How good would they be?
And all of a sudden, I find myself in the Elite Eight, but their guard play has been outstanding. Jared Jack and B.J. Elder.
Now, poor Josh Boone, he keeps shooting free throws like Daniel.
And Bill Self leaving Illinois and getting Roy Williams' team in Kansas and doing a terrific job there.
Down to 5 minutes to go here in Phoenix, and the University of Connecticut Huskies starting to make plans for San Antonio. The only time Alabama led was 2-0 and 4-2. Davis commits the foul, his first. And once again, Josh Boone will make the trek to the free throw line. He's 2 for 7 today.
Well, you know, in round 2, you see the horrible free throw shooting of some of those players. In round 2 against Stanford, with about 6-7 minutes to go, Alabama found themselves down 13 and then really turned the screws on defensively against Stanford. I think Josh Childress getting in foul trouble, kind of a shaky call there, and obviously pulled that game out against the #1 seed. So this is a smart foul.
Trailing by 16 with 4:48 to go. And it gets to the point where it's not only physically unable to make the shot, it's just a mind game for this freshman Boone. Even when you make a good effort, it won't go down. So 16 points, a couple of quick threes by Alabama, and we could get a stir of excitement here in Phoenix. And not much of that from the Alabama side, although they're rooting as hard as they can across the way.
And Jim Calhoun is going to go to Hilton Armstrong to get Josh Boone out of there. Not happy with that foul, but more importantly, wants to take the 42% free throw shooter off the floor.
Third foul on Boone.
1+1.
Here's Chuck Davis, one in the bonus, looking for number 18. Averaged 11 points a game on the season, just a sophomore from Selma. Led the team in rebounds, just under 6. Led the team in field goal percentage, most of his shots coming in close. Had a nice tournament, 19 today, and 9 rebounds for Davis.
Now Hilton Armstrong, not that much better as a foul shooter, 48%.
Anderson can shoot them, and Talik Brown has trouble. Gordon's a good free throw shooter.
Yeah, so just keep the ball in the hands of Gordon, but Winston should be up pressuring now to at least get some kind of a count, get the ball out of Gordon's hands.
Gordon is the best free throw shooter for the Huskies at about 82%.
That's too soft defensively.
Ball away from Emmett Thomas, and down the bottom of the well, Ben Gordon with 32. He's approaching his career best of 37. That against the Nevada team back in November. They were a nice part of the tournament, weren't they? The Nevada Wolfpack. Just under 4 to go here in Phoenix, Connecticut. It's been a proud season for the wives of these two coaches. Elizabeth Gottfried, the mother of 5, ages 12 and under, and Pat Calhoun with grandson Samuel on her lap and enjoying the UConn performance. Yeah, good luck charm. He's superstitious, as we said, Jim Calhoun. Young Samuel's able to be back in San Antonio. Under 4 to go. Connecticut by 16.
Yeah, Alabama's got to come up. They got to double team Gordon a little bit just to run at him to get the ball out of his hands and foul anybody else other than Rashad Anderson out on the floor.
3 men. They can't get it away from Gordon. So Anderson is wide open. Misses that one, and out of bounds it goes to Connecticut. And as we conclude our action here in Phoenix, we'll go to East Rutherford for that regional final. Will it be Oklahoma State or St. Joseph's that advances to the Final Four? 7:05 Eastern, 4:05 in the West is the scheduled tip-off time.
Ben Gordon taking over the point guard responsibilities. Finally, the pressure defense getting the 5-second call.
And hats off to Demetrius Smith, who was able to hawk Gordon to force the turnover.
It's not easy to do that. Of course, Gordon is backpedaling, trying to use some clock. He can go by any defender at any time, but and he might have to do that, and might even have to take a shot a little bit early in the clock.
Just a modest hiccup in what has been an impeccable performance by UConn. Only 4 turnovers in the entire game. Foul goes against Hilton Armstrong, his first, and again Davis at the line.
And it's pretty obvious that Jim Calhoun does not go deep into his bench. He had the big lead the other night against Vanderbilt, pretty much staying with the 7 or 8 players. And you know, he points out, he said, hey, we're deep up front. We've got a lot of big bodies, a lot of 6'10s, more than most teams. He said, but think about it. He said, we are a tweaked ankle away in the backcourt of being in serious trouble. And by that he means Ben Gordon or Talik Brown. They're really his only guards that that handle the ball. Now, Rashad Anderson will certainly shoot it, but I don't know if he wants to go out there and be a point something or other.
Now Calhoun said, I don't know who I'd put in there if those two guys got in foul trouble or one was injured. Davis misses that, has 20 points in the game. Gordon and Anderson of Connecticut have scored all but 18 of the Husky points, 60 between just those two. Anderson with the ball now, a career high. He has 28 and Gordon with 32. Checking foul against Shelton. In 1999, the Connecticut Huskies of Calhoun faced Duke in the national championship game. Connecticut's Richard Hamilton. He scored 27 points and was named the most outstanding player of the Final Four. The Huskies won their first ever national title, 77-74. Talik is short, and as we mentioned, he's one of those guilty of some faulty free throw shooting on the season, hitting only 54.7%, and that is not good when you're the point guard.
No, but on a positive note for Talik Brown, he is one of only 2 active players to have over 1,000 points and over 700 assists. That other player is that man who played such a gutty ball game for Duke last night, Chris Duhon. Hats off to him. Boy, you could tell he was in a lot of pain with those sore ribs.
Yeah, what a Herculean effort by Duhon. It's a terrific game. Down to 2:45 left and another whistle, and they're pointing at Villanueva, and that would be his fourth. Calhoun says, I just want to get on the bus.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want. He's mad at the official. He's not mad at Charlie Villanueva.
Davis wearing a path to that free throw line here in the second half. He's 6 for 7 in the game.
And boy, the Crimson Tide started out this game very smartly, going inside to Davis, scored a bucket right away against Emeka Okafor. A number of times took him to the other side of the rim, trying to back his way down. And Chuck Davis had all kinds of problems. I thought in the first half against Syracuse, he actually only had 2 points, but in the second half, when Syracuse went to a little bit more man-to-man, he just took over. At 17 of his 19 in the second half of that game.
This is for a career high for Chuck Davis. 22 points in the game today. Emeka Okafor, sadly for Connecticut, has been a spectator most of the second half. Petway, one of the seniors, playing in his final game in that crimson uniform.
And Petway should almost be letting Talik Brown catch the ball and then foul him.
It was Petway that hit that floater with just a couple of seconds left against Southern Illinois that started this wonderful run for the underdog Tide, and beating Stanford and Syracuse, underdogs in all 3 games.
Missed opportunity for Alabama when Talik Brown had that ball, not to foul, got a foul.
And it's kicked into the backboard by Gordon. That'll be a backboard violation. And the turnover with 6 seconds left on the shot clock, so they used up most of the 35.
Yeah, you hate turnovers, but you can almost live with that. Didn't give up an easy basket and just did chew up 29 of the 35 seconds.
Connecticut, with the game fairly close early on, got off to an 18-6 run and jumped out to a 20-10 lead. And just from that time on, it was on cruise control, and watch Rashad Anderson and Ben Gordon score. Closing it on 2 minutes. Off the mark was Emma Thomas. And Gordon with the rebound. Gordon's had a pretty good day on the glass as well. No, only 2 rebounds. His presence is so powerful, it seems like he's everywhere. And that one twists out. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Tony Petitti, the coordinating producer of NCAA basketball, Bob Digas. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by Mike Arnold. Thank you, gentlemen, and all the crew. Great work here in Phoenix. At the half was produced by Eric Mann, directed by Bob Matina. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Harold Bryant, the associate director. Today's game, Fred Johnson. The broadcast associates, Corey Fishman and Bill Thayer. Technical manager, Rick Godwin. Technical director, Colby Bourgeois. And senior audio, Devin Fouts. And Butch Baird here pounding away at those numbers. And there's been some outstanding totals for Ben Gordon and Rashad Anderson. 32 and 34 points for those two Connecticut stars. That'll be a charge on Davis. And big old Villanueva, they're saying, hey, if you go down that easily, don't take up anything in a boxing ring.
I think Jim Calhoun bought this call a few possessions ago. Clearly a good acting job by Charlie Nueva, with a big smile on his face, but he had a cheap one called on him about a minute or so ago.
I'd also like to thank members of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee, Jim Livengood, Gerald Myers, Carl Benson, as well as our hosts from Arizona State for all their help this week. It's been fun here in the Valley of the Sun. Villanueva, high percentage shot. UConn has never lost an NCAA tournament game, as Davis scores easily, to any team seeded 6 or higher. 26-0 after today. Could you do this?
Oh, in my dreams, Nick, only on a trampoline.
Wonderful run for the Crimson Tide, and indication of what good things are ahead in Tuscaloosa for this team of Mark Gottfried. And coming up, Oklahoma State, St. Joseph's. Should be a terrific game. Hard to pick a winner in that one. Gordon has to call time when double teamed in the backcourt with 1:13 left. .113 to go before Connecticut can fully celebrate. Could have been a contender. Those are the schools with most tournament appearances, no Final Four. BYU, Missouri, Alabama, now 17 tries. Miami of Ohio. Xavier could turn that around in their 16th appearance in the big dance.
Well, it takes a lot of ingredients. Obviously, you got to be a good defensive team, as Connecticut is, and they've got star power.
Brock can't hit the bank. And Denham Brown rebounds and is fouled by Demetrius Smith. 1:04 left.
Alabama putting on the pressure now after they missed another opportunity, just grabbing away. And they'll send Denham Brown, who's trying to get himself back into the mix for Jim Calhoun. The injury problems cost him his playing time, but turned out to be a positive for the team in that Rashad Anderson got a chance to play and show his ability to shoot the basketball.
Denham Brown able to score.
23, Demetrius Smith, and 21, Evan Brown.
Well, in a way, the great disappointment, because the dream was on when they arrived here today. But these are all bright young guys who say, you know what, we really did something special this year. I mean, something no Alabama basketball team has ever accomplished, all the way to the Final Eight.
Only 8-8 in their conference they played with. First or second toughest schedule in the country. Kennedy Winston lays one in, and it paid off for them. The selection committee appreciated that. Got a decent seed, and of course the runner in round 1 by Antoine Petway, and then the improbable victory over Stanford to vault them into the Sweet 16.
Well, they're part of the bracket busting here at the Phoenix Regional. Ben Gordon now with 36, one less than his career high. And they've just let Kennedy Winston walk in for an easy 2. Connecticut fans appropriately stand as one and salute these Huskies. They're a handful both ends of the court, and that defense shows you at times they just can strangle an offense, and then they're more powerful at the offensive end. A lot of people give them credit.
But two big questions, Dick. How is Emeka Okafor going to respond to this injury? And keep in mind, UConn Huskies have not been tested.
That's a good point. No team has really. They beat Vermont by 17. They beat DePaul by 17. 20-point win over Vanderbilt. And here they are 20-16 ahead of Alabama. So what will happen when they truly are tested by a solid team and you got to come down the final 10 minutes, 5 minutes and win a game. But congratulations to Jim Calhoun and the Connecticut Huskies. They've repeated what they accomplished 5 years ago here in Phoenix. They have made a trip to the Final Four.